Hey there. Thank you for joining me, Stanley, on the Saturday. Um, last week was, we're all getting caught up with Easter. We're super excited about it. This week, it's kind of coming back with the coronavirus is the main thing in the news. Some of you probably got your stimulus checks. I know that we got our stimulus check. Some of you guys are carefully watching to see if and when the restrictions are going to get lifted. But I wanted to talk about another thing that is pretty big as far as the coronavirus goes, and um, that's all the conspiracies that are flying around. I just saw, as I was online just a minute ago, before recording this video, saw some random ad about someone recreating the virus in a lab. There have been conspiracies about China are doing this for biological warfare, that there was a scientist at a university in the United States who was arrested in connection to a university over in China, and they said that they developed this virus, them together. They're saying, I've heard people talking about, oh, it's a Republican conspiracy to throw the election and get Trump reelected, or it's a Democratic conspiracy to make Trump look bad so he doesn't get reelected. I heard just recently, it was one of the further ones out there, that like all of this is somehow a conspiracy to not catch people getting something extracted from them, that the people are just kind of going away instead of like actually having medical reasons to. All the conspiracies that are getting thrown out there right now are nuts. Most of these, if you just did a quick look online, you could find out that they're not true. I'm not saying that fact checkers are 100% accurate, but they're a whole lot more accurate than just seeing a post on social media and thinking that it's true. All you have to do is either pull up your web browser on your phone, open up another tab on your computer, type fact check, and then one of the facts of the claim that's being made, and you'll be able to find several fact check sites that have looked into these claims, and they will be able to back their statements up with reliable statements, either pointing you to the original post that made it up, or pointing you to articles about the truth of what happened from more reliable sources. But I've talked before about checking our facts. I have talked before about not trusting social media. Even on these Saturdays, I've brought these things up before. What I wanted to kind of bring up is what I think is one of the underlying reasons why we get so into some of these conspiracies. Everyone needs to feel like they have control over something. I just listened to a podcast with Christian psychologist Dr. Henry Cloud, and he brought up, like, we need to have control over things. If we feel like everything is out of control, then it will psychologically damage us. And I know that we need to have some sense of control right now. When everything is getting shut down, we're being told everything that we cannot do. We have no control over whether we contract the virus or whether we spread it to other people. I understand that we need to feel some sense of control. And I think that at the end of the day, that is really what drives the move towards some of the conspiracies. We feel like someone, at least, is more in control if the Democrats are manipulating things, or the Republicans are manipulating things, or someone manufactured this virus and it's a weapon that's being used, or whatever's going on. If we have this kind of knowledge, we feel like we are more in control. But at the end of the day, we are only in control of things that we actually can control. And we cannot control everything. We can't. In some ways, I think the virus right now is a perfect example of this. Like, I know the Sunday that my churches last met together, I told everyone, yeah, I'll see you next week. Yeah, I'll see you next Sunday. Because why wouldn't I see them next Sunday? Why wouldn't I see everyone again the next week? And then everything happens. We haven't had church since then. And just this fact that all of this can happen should show us that we aren't in control. It doesn't matter what conspiracy we come up with behind how the virus has started. We're not in control of that. And in some ways, the more that we make up these theories so that we feel like we have a sense of control, the further away we are from actually being in control. When we don't make sure that we know what's true, and we buy into some of these conspiracies that aren't quite there, it really pushes us further out of control. It distracts us from the things that we do have control over. Right now, there's plenty that we have control over. We can control how often we are going out into public and interacting with other people. We can control how closely we come into contact with people when we are in public. We can control the size groups that we gather into. We can control the sanitary measures that we take to ensure our safety. We can control the information that comes in and out of our house. We can control what we're focusing on, what our families are focusing on. There are a lot of actions that we can control every day. Are we going to spend 8 hours watching the news to consume whatever news source that we decide to trust is spreading? Or do we spend more of that time developing a skill, communicating with people that we love in ways that we can, taking care of ourselves mentally and emotionally and physically? We have control over some of these things. And us focusing on a lot of these conspiracies, on who was it who made this and who's at fault for the responses now, and who can we blame for what's going on, and what is the truth about this thing or that thing. If we focus our energy on them, we lose control over so much more. Ultimately, we need to listen to a few of the things that God calls us to do in the New Testament. Jesus spoke to us against worry, pointing to the sparrows who don't worry about where their next meal will come from, but they don't go hungry. God knows each and every sparrow, and we're worth so much more than a sparrow. So surely God will take care of us. Pointing to the flowers in a field that are so beautiful, saying that even Solomon, the greatest, the wealthiest of Israel's kings, in all of Solomon's splendor, couldn't compare to the beauty of the flowers of the field. But those flowers rise up one day and are gone the next. Surely God cares so much more to take care of us than those flowers. We don't have a reason to be worried, and we don't have a reason to fill ourselves with worry and anxiety about all of these things and try to come up with who's really at the heart of all of this, because the Bible tells us, no, God takes care of us. God takes care of us by helping us know what precautions to take. God takes care of us by directing us in ways to help others. God takes care of us. We don't have to worry about controlling all of it. And Paul tells us of the things that we are to think about. We are to think about whatever is true, but also whatever honorable, excellent, praiseworthy, beautiful, lovely. And a lot of our thoughts will very quickly go into these conspiracies, into the things that are true, beautiful, excellent, praiseworthy, lovely. We need to try to focus in again on who God is and on who God made us to be. So I'd encourage you, even if you're thinking that there are things that we do live in an age where it seems like there is another conspiracy around every corner that is turning out to be true. But even if you're thinking the numbers don't add up, even if you're thinking someone is lying about something, that there is more going on, I would encourage you, before just trying to spread all of these things, focus in again on Jesus, on what he says, on the wonderful miracles that he did. To take some time to enjoy nature. You can still enjoy the outdoors. As I'm recording this, it's raining, so it's not the greatest outside, but enjoy listening to the rain. Take a step back before furthering on some of these things. And then if you are still feeling like, hey, listen, I think I need to share this, do a bit of research before just sharing the most spectacular thing that you see. Again, do a little bit of research. Just take a moment to try to figure out what's going on out there. Then if you still feel like the thing that you're looking at, as outrageous as it seems, is true, and you are still feeling like it must be heard, I can't tell you not to share it. I'm not going to say that we shouldn't try to know the truth. But I think if you've taken all of those steps, you might have come to realize maybe that the thing isn't true, or maybe it's just not helpful. It's not going to help ease anyone's minds. It's not going to help any of us move forward. Just take a breath. Let us focus in on the beautiful, the excellent, the praiseworthy. Let's praise healthcare workers who are doing an incredible job. Let's do our best to honor and support those who are serving us so well during this time. Let's try to build each other up during this time. And let's admit, at the end of the day, there are some things we do not have control over. But there are so many other things that we can control. And let's do the absolute best with what we can control, and then release those things we can't control into the control of someone else. Someone that the Bible tells us takes excellent care of us and loves us deeply. God bless you guys. Goodbye.